We are not so different.
Good morning, my We Are Not So Different family. Thank you for choosing to spend another episode with us. Today's guest, I have Miss Stephanie Sylvia Costello. Can I just call you Steph for short? Is that cool?
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome sauce. Because I know I'm very particular about my name. It's not Andrea. It's not Andrea. It's not, my name is Andrea. So I want to be able to respect that. So good morning, Miss Stephanie. How are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for choosing to hang out with We Are Not So Different. I'm so excited to get into this conversation. So, as usual, I want to, anytime we're dealing with, professionals, I like to give you guys a little bit of background, a little bit of receipts. So, you know that these people are certified and bona fide. Okay. So, Miss Stephanie has over 10 years of experience in the mental health field, working with individuals ranging from 6 to 50. Attending school for criminal justice, human services, and psychology. Woo, get it, girl. Stephanie has learned the essential skills to relationship building, becoming a mom of 3 beautiful children and being diagnosed with PTSD. The struggle of working through these life changes has propelled her ability to support people. Receiving the diagnosis and going through labor was the easy part. Finding the inspiration and belief in herself was a real challenge. Stephanie has beaten all statistical odds. Her life journey has fueled her fire to help people take action and fight through the resistance. Relationships are all about compromise and collaboration, giving and receiving energy. If you're ready to take action and build a healthy relationship, both with yourself and the individuals in your life, Stephanie is the one for you. Come on, Miss Stephanie, you better. You better.
If you could intro me like every time, that would be great.
Girl, I'm just reading down the receipts because she has them, okay? All right, babies, you know the drill. Find your favorite spot on the couch. Get your favorite drink, whether it's Kool-Aid or Cavassier. You get ready to tune into this here conversation. Me and Stephanie, as you can see, we're going to be talking about relationships today. I love that she specified building a healthy relationship with both yourself and the individuals in your life. Because, baby, what I'm learning in my grown years is if your relationship with yourself ain't right, all the rest of the relationships, regardless of who, what, where, why, will suffer. So yes, Miss Stephanie, all my guests get the same, guests get the same 2 questions. So number 1, if you had the undivided attention of an audience of your choosing, who would said audience be and what would you tell them?
And what would I tell them? So parents and couples.
Okay.
And what I would tell them is that your deep, safe, intimate connection with yourself and with others is really what's going to fuel that true essence of living the human experience. And what is the human experience? That true sense of belonging in a way that isn't, well, I'm a mom and I'm a homeowner and I'm whatever else, like all these titles that society gives us, but in yourself. When you can brave the wilderness, which is actually a book, Braving the Wilderness by Brene Brown. When you can brave the wilderness and feel both belonging to yourself and to the collective all, you really get that sense of true belonging. She talks about Maya Angelou's work, and in Maya Angelou, when she is in this interview, she is being challenged by her beliefs, and at the end of the day, she says, "I belong to Maya." And so when you can belong to yourself and brave the wilderness, stand alone, have that courage to then also be connected, you understand what true belonging is, and then you get that whole essence of the human experience.
I love that. And before I even jump into the second question, which is standard for like every guest, but I want to know more about the belonging to self part. So let's stick a pin in that, because as soon as I finish the second question, that is obligatory for everyone that comes on We Are Not So Different. I feel like I need to know exactly what that means. I need to wrap my mind around that concept. So number 2, if you had the opportunity to speak to a younger version of yourself, let's say 4 or 5 year old Stephanie, what do you think little Steph needs to hear?
4 or 5 year old Stephanie. Can I shift the age around just a little
Yeah,
bit? Okay, I would say 13-year-old Stephanie.
teenager Stephanie, what you got?
13-year-old Stephanie needs to hear that although I had to do it for myself and nobody else would do it for me, I didn't have to do it alone. And I did it alone for so many years, and that caused me way more suffering than it needed to. So little Stephanie deserves to know that she is fucking awesome. Hopefully it's okay to swear.
You free, baby. You free.
and that, you know, I have such a gift to share with this world, and how I choose to share it in a very loving, kind, caring, gentle, inclusive way. It gets to be shared, and I get to bring that community with me too, instead of having to always brave the wilderness alone. Too many scars trying to brave it alone.
Man, I was just about to say, what did you have to do alone? But I'm assuming you mean just like life.
No, I nearly died from alcohol poisoning when I was 13. Yeah.
Okay.
And at that point in my life, there was a lot of dysfunction surrounding me, and I didn't know how to get help. I didn't know who to turn to for help. And after healing through that for a good 2 weeks, you know, just healing through the effects on your body, it took me years to heal through and sort through all of the dysfunction and the you know, not great relationships and not great role models, and trying to figure out, like, I know this is wrong, but everyone else is doing it, so what the hell am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to be? What is my life gonna be like? And so yeah, it was definitely, I figured out if I didn't do it for me, nobody else would. But I had this pride, and I've done it, right? No one could take it away from me that I did it. But I didn't do it. I wouldn't have made it without the support that I had. And I think that I discounted others in ways that I shouldn't have.
I was just about to say, so as a 13-year-old, you figuring this out by yourself? You a real one. that is a lot. It's like, I mean, just from some of the stuff that you mentioned, which I'm sure is just the tip of the iceberg.
Tip
like
of the iceberg.
It's some adults that cannot
Handle
maneuver
it,
and or traverse that type of territory or terrain. So I'm trying to think, 13-year-old Andrea was still climbing trees and eating crab apples. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Wow. Okay. So since we in there, we in it. Adele say rolling in the deep. Since we in there, what does it mean when you say belonging to yourself? Like you said, Maya Angelou was like, I belong to Maya. Can you give me a better, I feel like I need to grasp that before I move forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the true sense of belonging, and this whole idea of braving the wilderness, it's this idea that you are an essential piece to the puzzle. And really, true belonging means having courage and being courageous to stick to your path, the path that you feel so drawn to, and you know you belong on it. But then there's all of this other potential risk taking that you are taking. So for example, my true belonging to myself at age 13 was, I know this is wrong. I can feel the wrongness in all of these areas. And every step I take away from that lifestyle and those people causes me that risk of belonging to the greater common community and the people that are surrounding me. Fast forward from 13 to 16, when I got my license, and I was so excited to show everybody my car. And you know, one individual particularly in this group said to me, "Don't forget where you came from." Almost like, you're right, exactly. And it's like, did I forget where I come? I don't know, what is that for me or for you?
Right.
You know, at that time, it's like, I'm confused here. So you know, that right there, that comment is it's a scar in braving the wilderness alone. It's a scar and being marked as you're doing different than what we do here, and you're going to be slowly removed from that overall community of belonging. So when you're trying to take these courageous steps into growth for yourself, you can risk all of this connection, and those people who really care about you will continue to come along the journey with you. And those people who don't have the ability to love you the way that you deserve to be loved, they will stop. And it can be painful, it can be scary. Maybe they'll come around, and that next step of true belonging is being able to just extend that love and that generosity to those people who cannot extend it in return, and being able to really hold that brave face and belief in yourself, knowing that you're choosing the journey that feels most in alignment for you.
Wow. So that sounds like a lot. So I'm processing.
Yes, it's okay.
I have this thing where, and it's so frustrating, but I need to extend myself grace, where I'll have like 1,000,001 words bombarding my brain, all trying to get out of one mouth. It calls like a traffic jam. But
I say my brain's going ping, 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 ping. Like, give me a second to like. Same.
My goodness. But to be able, and I just keep thinking of 13-year-old me, like, would I be able to, as you said, extend the love and generosity, knowing
I most certainly was not able to.
Okay, girl, I know about you, girl. You was wise beyond your years, girl. I'm about to give you all the big ups and applause.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know if I'd have been able to do that. Extend love and generosity, knowing that I might not receive that in return.
Yeah. Well, I can say that I may have been successful in some areas, like people that I felt like my younger sister, like I felt no matter how much things might have been challenging between us, that I felt this like responsibility towards helping her, being the older sibling. So there's certain people that I definitely extended that generosity to, but no, it has taken me 3 children, 11 years with my husband, like long time, and 7 or 8 years of being diagnosed with PTSD to figure out how to really, like, I just turned 30 and now I really grasp, like, what does belonging mean? I've always had the courage and I've always moved along. But again, I chose to do it alone for so many years, and doing it alone, it builds resentment, it builds anger, it builds frustration in relationships. You are expecting things that are the unexpectable, or that you can't necessarily control if someone else will be able to provide that love to you, right? So that wisdom has definitely sort of always been there. I've always been told I'm wise beyond my years, which is like, I don't want to fucking be wise beyond my years.
Hello?
Like,
why come I gotta be the trailblazer? I hear you.
Literally, yeah.
Wow. So I would imagine, but I'm not going to assume. I'm just going to ask. So due to basically what some of the things that transpired in your childhood and different relationships and all this stuff, this is what led you to even wanting to go down the path of human services and psychology and stuff in school. Like, can you pinpoint a time where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
When I turned 14, that's where the kind of criminal justice stuff comes from. Where I live locally, there's a program for kids to learn how to be a cop. And 14 to I think like 19, I was in that program, which gave me purpose. It set me on a straight and narrow path. I had mentors. I had people keeping me, out of the stuff that I was headed down, not like the beating all statistical odds. When you said that, I was like, oh, I forgot that. That's a good reminder of what life was like for me.
Hello, girl.
As a kid. Yeah. Like I belonged, teenage pregnancy and homeless and drugs. And there were so many statistical odds that I should have been followed through. And so this criminal justice, program as a kid was like, yeah, purpose. I'm going to help people. I'm going to make change. I'm going to, I found what my purpose is. And then I did my first degree, one of my associate's degree in criminal justice, and I did the internship, and I was like, whoa, this is not going to work for me. Like there's so much here that I, don't know how to deal with and unpack. And I knew there was a bigger challenge at that point in my life. I was probably 18, 19 at the time when I graduated, but I didn't know what it was. And I found that out later on when I started my bachelor's in psychology. But from that degree, I moved into my human services degree. And I was like, this is it, like chewing on all the juicy things about like figuring out who I am and why am I the way I am and what's driving my decision making and all these things. And then I realized that, wanting to be a cop, I was just paying myself to work in the same streets, dealing with the same family traumas, the same generational patterns, the same dysfunction. But I made it, right? And no, really, I was just replicating the same patterns that I was taught as a child. And so the human services and psychology really gave me that ability to exercise. And now I'm currently working on my master's, but it gave me the ability to exercise my emotional resiliency and really figure out what does that mean for me. And I like to correlate it to going to the gym. If you go to the gym, or if you I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do all these things, but you never get to the gym, you're never going to succeed at building those muscles and in building that strength. And so for me, this has been like a lifelong journey of just continuing to build that resiliency and determination. And finally, I feel like I'm really grasping the essence of true belonging now at age 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that? Listen, my babies, the ones from however young you are, have 13, 4, 5, 6, 13, 26. Yeah. You heard her. She said she's 20, she's 30, she just turned 30. Yeah. And she's just starting to grasp the essence of belonging. So listen, babies,
it takes
if
time.
you're in a spot where you're thinking you should be further along, then, extend yourself some grace. We're all getting there. Life is a journey. Don't beat yourself up. You'll get there. I promise you will. Just extend yourself some grace.
And even that, there's no destination you're working to get to. You're right. It's a journey, right?
That
like,
part.
Yeah, I hit 30. And if you look at, most people, you're a mom and you own a home and you've got the husband, the white picket fence, all the crap. It's like, I just hit, like, I've done all the things. I've got a lot of life experiences, more than my fair share for age 30. And most people my age, but now I'm like, what's next? Like, where do I go from here? And
but the next 30, what's that?
Exactly. And when I hear people sit back and say, oh, I'm 50, I'm too old to go to college. It's like, what? You're too, like, where do you expect to go in, I don't know, 20 years? Like, you're too old.
Man.
Just pick up a book.
Something, like, really. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This, excuse me, conversation is causing me to be a real, like, I have a whole conversation going on in the back of my mind. I'm like, Andrea, focus. But it's like pulling down so much. Oh God. Or like you said, ping, 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 ping. Yeah. So 14, man. But like, this is what I'm gonna do. And so, but what I love. Anytime somebody can go through something that potentially should have broke them or killed them, in this case, but then turn around and take what was meant to destroy them and use it as a lifeline to help other people get out the same muck, man. That always hits me right in the feels, like. And I believe there's like a special place for people like you, like, for real, like, you cannot have a heart to want to help people, like a genuine desire, and then more than a desire, a drive and a work ethic, because you went to school, you did the work, and now you're practicing. So you can't have a heart and then a desire and a work ethic to help people and it not be blessed. I just refuse to believe that.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for your desire to do so, man, because it's needed.
Thank you so much.
So, so do you coach or mentor, or like, how do you, for lack of better terminology, how do you connect with the audience or the people who you do, I don't want to say target, but I'll say who you have a soft spot for?
My soft spot, for sure. Emergency services, obviously, knowing what they go through and having almost gone through it myself. I love working with those emergency services because they also extend their neck out all the time. Military, police, fire, and paramedics, like lawyers. There's a lot of people who are taking care of our society in a way that they just, same thing that natural give. And my goal is to help them be able to do so in a very healthy, loving way. and break free of their own patterns, and then be able to extend that love to the people that they're serving in whatever fashion that they're serving them. And then to go deeper than that, it's parents and couples. I love working with parents who are struggling with communicating with their children, and that give and take. Being a mom of three, one thing that I realized after having my second, and I remember saying, I just remember having like this wicked aha moment. I'm from New England, so this this intense aha moment. And so it was that nobody tells you that after your children turn about 2 years old that they no longer love you with this like intense love. Like they all of a sudden become individuals, and you're like, wait a minute, I brought you into this world, like you're supposed to love me forever, right? And we have this like false belief as parents that our children are going to love us forever, and they're going to listen to us, and it's going to be this magical thing, and all this kind of this storytelling that we feel when we're having children. And so I love, love, love teaching parents how to communicate and have a good, healthy back and forth relationship. The one thing, a parenting job is the one place that your kids can come and dump anything they want to dump on you, and you have no choice but to continue to love them. And that's a terrible thing. That it's like, why do we humans do that to our parents? Like, what in the world? Why is that a natural evolution of how human nature works? So love that. And then with couples, helping them have that true, deep, intimate bond. Two words that are I'm still learning how to say them in a way that is not so difficult. There's qualitative and quantitative, right? So qualitative is the quality of the connection and the bond, and quantitative is how you measure that, right? So we went on X date, we went on this many dates in this month, and we can measure how we spent our time. Or qualitative, you can't measure it. It's not the thing that you can feel and manipulate and change. It's this energetic flow. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean behind closed doors or only behind closed doors. I mean emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy, educational intimacy, experiential, spiritual. There's all these different ways we bond as humans, and the quality of that bond is so incredibly juicy if we allow it to be. But most people don't understand how to make that and really embody it, because if what they're seeing is not equating to their quality of their experience, it creates this mixed messaging. And I love helping couples make sure that they have that deep connection regardless of what is going on in life. And a quote to add to that: pain is inevitable, but suffering is an option. It's a big learning lesson for me.
I love how you apparently have this innate ability to make tough stuff sound so simple. Because I'm like, yes, and it sounds good. But I'm like, did she just really? So okay. So one of the things that we were talking about was addressing strength and navigating challenging conversations with peace and ease. The way that you put those words together, ma'am, okay, you said challenging, and then you said peace and ease. Ma'am. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to explain. I mean, I'm sure it's doable, but I myself am guilty of having failed. And I mean, I believe I'm a good part of the majority, if I can be so. Yes. Yeah, navigating even sounds exhausting, but you said navigating challenging, and then you said peace and ease, and the 4 words, they just don't help.
You crack me up. It's so true. It is definitely like, what are you even trying to say there? Don't get me wrong, I can sit here and I'm super calm. I'm feeling super chill right now, super calm, like totally enjoying this. But actually recently I posted a picture on Facebook of my family. We were all, we live near train tracks. And so we were like walking in all the snow and having fun. And I said, look at these perfect pictures of my perfect family. Just kidding. Like, this one spent the entire time crying. I told him to shut his mouth. Like, this one is over here, like doing this. And it was like, And my husband is like, look at us, like whole family just having so much fun laughing at us, the entire time. And so the life is not perfect. Expect to fail, and that's where the courage comes into play, is the courage to fail, the courage to cry, the courage to experience the pain is so incredibly powerful. It's the part of not suffering through it, right? So I was pissed as all hell. I was like, I cannot deal with you kids. Like, I just need to go get away from me. Like, I was having a moment for sure. And then afterwards, it's like, damn, I know I said this and I know I said that. And, I have to go apologize and I have to own up to my mistakes. And so that having challenging conversations with ease is being able to have that determination, that resiliency, exercising those emotional muscles to be able to have the courage to go back and have the conversation. Mommy said some things that she shouldn't have said, and it was totally inappropriate. And I want you to know that I'm going to work on not doing those things anymore because I love you and I want you to be happy. That takes courage. That is so hard for some people to be able to hold back that, hold back the anger, like the thing you're thinking, as much as it will feel so damn good to just throw that bomb.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
Watch it explode and
yes.
watch what happens. Like, it feels so good. But at the end, there's so much regret and so much resentment and so much, all these other feelings. So it takes so much courage to be able to hold back that shame and that blame, that guilt, and that rapid fire of words, to then be able to maintain that bond and say, okay, like, really what's going on here is I feel and I want, and these are the things that I need in this connection and this relationship, whatever else it might be. And have that, be able to say that with confidence. And then if they reject it, like, okay, with extending all that love and acceptance, radical acceptance is kind of what that's called. That's like chewing on broken glass and trying to swallow it. Like, it's not easy. By no means is it going to be an easy process, but there is a way to do it with ease, and that starts with self. Takes practice.
You see how she took those 4 words, navigating challenges in peace and ease, and by the time she got done with them, it was like she just gave you an oatmeal cookie.
With some chocolate chips.
Yes, all you need is some milk, boo.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness. So if this is what's like being one of your clients, okay, I get it.
Lots of love and patience for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so one of the things you said caused my brain to go off on a whole tangent. You was like, oh, it's gonna feel good to say it and blah, 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 blah. So I'm one of them people that's gonna bite my tongue. And I bite it. I'm talking about blood. I'm tasting blood. I'm chewing it. But, and as much as I try, I'll go and I'll try to pray about it. And sometimes, so it builds. And it builds. It's going to come out one kind of way or another, child. Look. Mm-hmm. So I guess, what is a healthy way of expressing, one of the things you said, it's called the power of tell it like it is.
Yes.
What are some healthy ways, or one, that will allow, what you said was, while having someone by your side to help you cut through the mindset BS that we all have. It's a verbal war up there. Because I'm real quick with it. And I know my mouth is real slick, so I try. I'm sorry, baby. Family, friends, loved ones. I know my mouth is real slick, and I recognize that. So that's something that I'm working on. But yes, the power of the tell it like it is. Help us, Steph. Help.
Tell it like it is. So as you were talking, I had a thought, and then I was actively listening, so I let it go, and we'll see if it comes back. The power of telling it like it is. Oh yes, always with a tone of love. Always with this attempt to convey, like, who is the essence of who you are, right? So if you asked your best friend, someone you really trust, if you said, what is my superpower? What is the one thing you can rely on me for? What would they say? Yeah.
They would probably say, because I'm gonna give it to you straight, no chaser.
that was just an intuitive response. Like, I'm sorry for answering it for
No,
you, but
you're
that's kind of
fine.
what you were conveying
Yes,
earlier.
ma'am. I'm gonna give it to
Honesty.
you. Mhm.
Yeah. Right. And so you're able to give them that truth, like when they're like, oh, what do I do? And you're able to give them that honest, just like, here's all the cake, man, like all the ingredients, this is what's gonna, and if you want to build a cake, like, here's what you need to build it. And so sometimes when we're kind of kicking back and forth and we're struggling, or to use your example, when we're frustrated and we're angry at something, that ability to stop and get that personal clarity around, what is it that I really want here? Because usually anger is the presenting emotion, but there's more below it. And once we get that clarity of what's below it, then we can say it like it is with love. And so I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of one, like, I'm trying to think, like, with kids. My kids come in and they're loud and rowdy and annoying me, and I'm trying to, like, be this loving mom, right? And I'm like gritting my teeth and I'm like, I love you so much, get out, like be
Right?
quiet or something, right? Versus like, I love you, I need quiet time, mom needs quiet time right now, right? That's really my intent of, like, I when I say I love you, I mean I love you. But if I'm gritting my teeth and I'm telling you I love you, it's like I'm really pissed off right now and I actually don't love you, but I'm just going to say I love you, right? So the tone really matters, saying it like it is. If you do it from a place of love. And sometimes we can, throw these sly comments out there too. My husband, oh, here comes a torpedo, because I throw this, like, watch it explode. But he'll say, oh, I've lost my train of thought. Here comes a torpedo. He'll be annoying me and I'll throw a comment at him. And that comment is clearly like a sly, a shot across the bow. Like, you're annoying me. You are annoying. You're stupid. Whatever other understanding because of my tone that he receives from that message, versus like, I'm not happy with what you're saying right now. I'm actually super annoyed. So we need to talk about this, because, this is not okay for me. And I don't want to do something that I'm going to regret, right? Owning it, saying it like it really is, versus like that shot across the bow.
Mhm. Okay. I do like the idea of taking a moment to try to get to the bottom. Like, if you're frustrated about something, what's the real reason? Am I fearful about something? Like, what's the root? Why am I so angry? Oh, Lord, help us. Help us, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me. Help me. Okay. And I think one of the things where it would be helpful when it pertains to having those conversations, especially with loved ones. I know you speak about not taking things personally.
Yes. And
Girl.
setting boundaries. Yeah, it's tough. Like that kind of, the not taking things personally, back to the whole part about being a mom and how, nobody tells you that your kids all of a sudden hate you. And then you're like taking that personally. You're like, I can't believe my kid is not loved. Like, why don't you love me? And, you're kind of go through this whole withdrawal of that real deep connection that you most often haven't had with anybody else in your life. And it does. It's like, my oldest, she is, love her dearly. She's got my stubbornness and my attitude and the whole works. And when you get your own attitude back, you're like, damn, what the hell?
Right?
Like, and then you'd like taking it personally, like, why are you treating me like this? Right. And it's like, it's not personal. She's her own human and she's growing and she's learning, and how she makes her choices at 7 years old is not how you at 30 are going to make them. Right. So being able to figure out, like, what is it that's, that is me and my stuff. So obviously when I was becoming a mom, I had this unresolved inner child, challenge that all of a sudden my kids were abandoning me and I was being abandoned all over again. And that's where that like whole PTSD came from. And so I had to really navigate that and stop. Like I remember sitting in an office, and I might get some mom shame for this, but I bet you there's a lot of moms out there that will be like, you know what, I totally get it. I was sitting in my therapist's office. My daughter, I think, was 3. And I was like, why this tiny, precious human that I'm so lucky to be able to call my daughter, do I hate so deeply with such as passionate hate? I just remember bawling my eyes out. Like, where is this hate coming from? This is not okay. She doesn't deserve this. I don't deserve this. And I have no idea what this is. And that was a huge, like, whoa, I'm like, this is what is up here. I'm taking these things way too personally. I couldn't put the words to it at the time, but now, in hindsight, I can see that I was taking things way too personally that didn't belong being done. So.
Wow. Well, if you do got some mom shame from Miss Steph, come see me. Come see me first. Don't come from a girl. She being vulnerable and truthful, but let me look. I'm finna go off. Nope, don't do that, Andrea. See? I told you.
I want to hear your tangent.
I'm just saying, I wish more people could be vulnerable and transparent because I'm sure, 100% sure, you ain't the only one that have felt some kind of way about their kids. It's some whole, I scroll through TikTok a lot. It's songs, there are memes, there are gifts, all things there's centered around a direct quote. Bleep them kids. It's like a movement. So it's like, I'm sure you're not the only one. You're not alone. So at least you had the wherewithal to get you some help about the situation. But oh my goodness. So do you have any new projects or anything coming down the pipeline that you would like to discuss or anything like that?
Absolutely. A lot of this conversation has been revolved around my journey, and personal clarity is really what got me there. When I really sat back and figured out, like, what do I want? What do I deserve? What are my superpowers? What do I bring to this world? And standing my grounds and confidently belonging to Stephanie, now I get to give my gift in such a way that people are enjoying and deserving to enjoy, because I'm not in this place of lack or scarcity or, oh no, what's happening and why is this happening to me? I'm in this place of, I am awesome and I deserve
that part.
Exactly. Like, I have such a beautiful gift to give to the world, just me being me. Like, I don't even have to be anything special. Maybe I don't have a superpower, but you know what? Today my superpower is on pause. It's being put on the shelf. I don't have the space to give you my superpower today, but I, Stephanie, am still amazing. Not because I'm a mom or a wife or all these other titles that society gives us. I'm amazing. And so back to your question, that personal clarity, I have on my website at safetyinfreedom.com, www.safetyinfreedom.com. You can go under free resources. I think somewhere on the website, there's the Clarify You transformation, and it's a 1-month process. It's like an introductory, like easy way into figuring out, like, what is this stuff that she's talking about? Because this is real deep, and I'm not sure I can handle this. And like, just test the waters, get a taste of what that personal clarity really feels like. And when you get those big breakthroughs, then you're going to want to keep going through the storm, knowing that you have the right support next to you.
So this is new and it's on your website, and it sounds like, is it free?
That one is not, but I do have an assertive communication checklist. Like, if you're like, okay, I am not ready to I just need to dip my toes a little bit, not like, up to the knees.
Right.
The safetyinfreedom.com/assertive communication, or even go to my website under free resources, and there's lots of things.
Yes, I saw the free, because look, everybody loves something free, but it's also important to remind people that if you value yourself, it's okay to spend some money on you. I mean, you're spending it on everybody else, right?
Your time too, really.
Yes, doggone it. Okay. So then my next little thing is, where can my audience find you? I know you mentioned the website, but I want to give you this time to shamelessly plug yourself, girlfriend. Give us emails, give us websites, give us social media handles, give it all.
Yes.
Where
So
can we find?
safety in freedom on all of the platforms, and people are like, safety in freedom, what? Oftentimes safety and the word freedom are separated. You know, you either get safety or you get freedom. You don't get both. And my mission is to bring those together. You can find safety in the freedom
Come on,
you
girl,
create.
preach.
Yes. So safety in freedom on Instagram, YouTube, or no, not YouTube. YouTube is the Intimacy Truths podcast, where I also have all the interviews and stuff, which I'm so excited to have you on as a guest, if that's something you'd like to do.
Yes, ma'am. Sign me up.
Absolutely. I love it. So yeah, all the platforms.
Awesome. I have really enjoyed my time with you. If there is ever a moment where it's like not a blank stare, but a stare, like, because usually, like, I got questions coming a mile a minute, but I'm so busy trying to process what it is that you're saying. It's like I'm taking all these pearls, all these juicy good bits for myself. I know, you're speaking to the helping audience, but I'm like, this is good stuff. And like I said earlier, if this is what like being a client looks like, then I get the appeal, I get the draw, because this has been juicy and I'm really reflecting. So I hope I'm not I hope I'm not looking like, ooh, the light's on but nobody home. Nope, it's just me processing. But
No,
for real.
I'm so excited that you feel that way too, because it's definitely deep, but when we allow ourselves to go deep, there's so much freedom down there. So I appreciate you sharing your freedoms and your ability to be vulnerable and trust in who you are and share it with the world how you deserve to share it. So
It's the only way, because I believe it's a lot of people out there that are really suffering and really think that they are alone, when the fact of the matter is, shameless plug coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are not so different.
Love it.
So on that note, babies, y'all know the drill. Thank you for spending your time with another episode of We Are Not So Different. I want you to do something for yourself this week where it's just for you. Not the babies, not the husband, not the wife, not the boyfriend, not the sister, not the brother. Nope. Just for you. Go do something for you, or get something for you, for yourself, for you. And then slide into my DMs. Let me know what you did to show yourself some love this week, because you deserve it. So until next time, my girls and gals, love y'all.
We are not so different.